The Kinabatangan River winds through the heart of Borneo, where one of the world's oldest rainforests now survives in fragments. Hidden within it, accessible only by boat, is the Danau Garang Field Centre. For the past 3 months, I've called it home. I've shared a flat with 3 scientists and a meal with many more, each of them attempting to understand this fragile ecosystem. But beyond the forest lies the fight to protect it, the search for development, and an ocean of oil palm.
Tiada.
It's a very small community in the jungle of Borneo. We work together, we live together, we eat together. Yeah, basically doing everything together except when we go to bed, then yeah, we are alone. Hi, my name is Amazia Sizamoria, but people call me Maz. I am a research officer at the Danau Garang Field Centre. I've been with the GFC for 12 years now, and I'm also doing my PhD. But yeah, that's me. Okay, so here at the Field Centre we have a few different projects. So Amanda is doing cat projects. So she is coloring cats and tracking them, and then she's doing diet as well. We also have pangolin. So Jerry is doing a project on pangolin. So basically we're also tagging the pangolins and we track them. And then we have a few other projects like the squirrels. Lindsay is doing squirrels. We have some of the smaller projects or like mini projects of the PTYs. So some of them are doing fungi.
I think it's a charge. Check this one out. If it rains, no worries, mate.
Crocodiles. That was so cool. Birds. What else? An audio moth on cicadas. And we have a project on gibbons as well, using audio moths. So yeah, those are the projects we have at the GFC. So in the Kinabatangan floodplain where the GFC is located, we actually lost 70 to 80% of the forest to agriculture, so mostly oil palm plantations. So the problem that we are having, especially in this area, is fragmentation. So that's what we're doing with the Regrow Borneo project.
This story extends far beyond the Kinabatangan. Across Sabah, almost half of the state's forests have been lost, with oil palm plantations as one of the principal drivers of deforestation. To understand how our home has been affected by this change, I joined Amanda in the field. Amanda studies leopard cats living on both sides of this landscape, in the rainforest and among oil palm plantations. By tracking their activity, her research reveals how wildlife adapts to a fragmented ecosystem. But Amanda brings another perspective. As an Indigenous Kinabatangan woman, her understanding of this landscape is shaped not only by years of ecological research, but an inextricable connection to this region and the communities who call it home.
Here, we are very proud of showing how the Borneo Big Five, you can find them a lot here. But the sad truth behind it is because there's a limited space for them and they're being pushed to the riparian areas. That's why we see them more. And because they have such little natural habitats left, I don't think it's good for the population. I don't think it's viable. And it shows that retaining or at least restoring and conserving what we have now is just one step towards it. We need to go beyond that as well. So I think being here, working with plantation managers and trying to work out how we can sort of make a corridor, make sure that they have areas to traverse through. Yeah. I was exposed to plantations quite young because, like I say, I was born in Kota Kinabalu, but I was raised in Sandakan. So practically only my siblings and my parents were living in Sandakan. So we would always have road trips. Every week we would go back and forth. And mind you, I thought the plantation was a normal landscape. I remember asking my mom, vividly asking my mom, like, Mom, why does this forest look so weird? I'm like, it's so organized. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, it's different. But I didn't know that it was a huge thing until I got into zoology and I took courses like conservation bio and learning about how you manage the environment, the resources. You know, coming from a young aspiring researcher, when I got into zoology, obviously you had a mixed perspective, but conservation is all about going against deforestation for sure, because we need to keep the ecosystem as healthy as ever. But coming here changed my perspective completely, because I realized it's not as easy, it's not as black and white. Sabah, even though we have a lot of resources, even though we're known for being a tourist destination, we are the poorest state in Malaysia. Some of the smallholders, they are consisting of local people who are trying to feed their family, for example. So coming here, that switched my perspective to, it's not as easy as banning an industry from operating. So I like that now I'm researching more into how we can work together with them to see how to best improve how we manage such a fragmented area.
Since 2019, Malaysia has introduced mandatory sustainable palm oil certification and capped national oil palm cultivation at 6.5 million hectares. Together, these measures have created closer collaboration between conservation organizations and the palm oil industry, shifting the focus towards managing existing plantations more sustainably.
SCB. There is no more palm.
So there's no more expansion of oil
palm? No.
And what we have right now, we're just continuing to work with the area that we have. Okay.
In this area, we have the high conservation area. We preserve that area as a untouched area. There is no manuring, there is no spray operation we doing there. That's why we call it high conservation value.
Is this what I expected?
Finally, destruction of this natural resource reached the point where America awakened to the need for conservation.
With increasing warming and increasing temperatures, we're seeing an increase in impacts and extreme events.
That we are at a critical juncture, a tipping point.
Fires within the Amazon.
Severe flooding. Kenya,
Mexico,
India, Colorado.
Amongst a climate crisis, I had vilified palm oil. It was an emblem of deforestation and biodiversity loss. But in person, it is far more complicated. Palm oil remains one of the world's most efficient crops and a constant in everyday products. In places like the Kinabatangan, it has become an engine for employment where few alternatives exist. Conservation is not merely scientific, it is social and economic. When feeding your family comes first, it is easy for conservation to come second. To understand the community's perspective, I travelled to the nearest town to meet Ainau, a local smallholder who, like many people here, owns and harvests a small oil palm plantation. Here, development means better roads, reliable services, and greater access to jobs, education, and healthcare. Few projects symbolise that more than the Borneo Highway. Construction is already underway. Across the state, forests have been cleared and red numbers mark the homes set for demolition, a silent countdown to the next step of development. In the afternoon, I arrived at Ainal's home.
Sawit adalah ini sumber pendapatan untuk community, orang kampung. Dia tidak membimbangkan dengan pembangunan karena di sini pembangunan belum banyak lagi. Di sini kebanyakan ladang lah, bukan pembangunan. Dia ladang di sini. Itu ladang sawit, dia itulah sebagai orang punya usaha lah di sini untuk mencari keuangan untuk pendapatan orang sini lah. Sebagai kalau ini sawit tiada sudah, community sini ada susah sedikit lagi lah. Memang susah lah. Habis sekarang pengharapan ini orang kampung sini, community sini hanya kelapa sawit. Pendapatan sawit saya adalah dalam 800 pupuk. Pendapatan dia tidak mencecah sampai 1000 lah. Saya boleh dapat sampai 400 dalam 500 ringgit Indonesia. Itulah tidak seberapa banyak lah. Pembangunan di sini belum lagi seberapa bilang orang maju. Pembangunan tidak banyak. Ini sebagai community kampung untuk pembangunan kita dapat sumber-sumber orang community orang kampung sini dapat sumber pendapatan sedikit. Jadi ini perhutan dapat juga pendapatan sedikit. Bolehlah bekerja dengan pelancongan, budak-budak orang kampung boleh bekerja. Jadi seimbang pembangunan dengan hutan.
Palm oil can provide income, but income alone is not enough. From above, the line between development and conservation appears simple, but beneath the canopy, it quickly blurs. Here, Maz leads Regrow Borneo, the now Garang's reforestation project, combining ecological research with community engagement to restore native rainforest.
I'm not even wearing my Regrow Borneo t-shirt, but that's okay. Regrow Borneo started in 2020. It was our director's idea, actually, Professor Benoit. We started thinking about what can we contribute back to, to the environment, to Kinabatangan, right? So why don't we, do forest restoration now, because we know where they are, we know the movement of these animals. So it's time for us to do something about the information that we have gained through the years. We know that we're very new with this, so that's why we collaborated with Copel. So they do planting, monitoring, maintenance and all that, and then we do the research. So I think it's very important that we try to evaluate the efforts of forest restoration around the area, if they are they actually successful or not. Are we actually providing what the animals needed, or is this a functional forest that we are actually contributing? And also because we know the problems around here, it's forest fragmentation, right? And we have these small forest patches, and we need to connect them, because some animals, when they're isolated, it's gonna be quite hard for them when they're isolated in this one small patch of forest. So we try to connect the forest so they can move around freely. It's to combat climate change as well, so we're doing carbon sequestration, trees absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, so it helps mitigate the effect of climate change. So we started planting in Kaboy Lake. This is one of my favorite sites. And when we started, it was so empty, you see bare land. And then now when I go back to the area, the trees are so high and so tall, and I'm like, wow, 5 years ago, it was there was nothing. I mean, there were a few like existing trees, but you could see it was very open.
So why do you find motivation to keep replanting and supporting a forest that you might not personally see?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's looking at how this impacts so many different people, especially the local communities. And also, I know I may not see it. Well, hopefully I will see it. But yeah, not only for the people, but for our planet, really. Yeah. We cannot deny that we need development, and people really need development, especially around here. But I'm hoping that we can do it in a more sustainable ways. We're still fighting for our forest, for our wildlife and all, but also we are still trying to make it more sustainable and have a balance between these two, because I think we need both.